I paid a lot of money for this mat, and this is supposed to be a self-healing, acid-friendly mat. And so far I've discovered if it gets hot it warps. Rubbing alcohol makes the labeling come off. It's gross. My friend Sean, she is awesome by the way, she sent me a test towel, and that's what you guys have been looking at the last couple of YouTube videos. I dig this. She made this towel for me. This is some kind of blanket. I like the black because of the high contrast, right? Like, it makes it easier for you guys to see what's on the bench. The problem with the black towels is they're very catchy. And what I mean by that is these little tiny loops, which work great for absorbing water, not so much for when you're working on something heavy that has a sharp pokey end in it, like the edge of a cabinet, and it decides it's going to grab up one of these little tiny loops, then the whole towel comes with it, and you got a mess. I'm not going to lie, I'm so used to working on this kind of surface like this with this towel. I love this embroidered towel, by the way. And Sean, I know you're going to watch this, and I want to say thank you. I love you. You're the best, my dear. She's also the one that's starting to do all my hats. She owns an embroidery t-shirt company, and she's married to one of my friends, and I just happen to love her to death. She's a great gal. But she took and she reworked the logo on my hats, and I had her make me a couple custom ones. And she sent this up for me to play with and try. You should see the new shirt she made me. Whew, it's beautiful. I think I'm going to go with this though. This style of towel. We'll see. So we're going to use this towel here in this video, and we'll see how well it puts up with solder, hot molten lead falling on it. Here, let's just test it right now. I'm just gonna, here. It's about average working height. We'll flick a little solder on that. Let it cool down for a second. It's still not dry yet, or not. It's still molten. It's in its liquid state, not dry. Okay. Still not molten, or still molten, not solid yet. Okay. Oh, hey, 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 hey. Sean, we might be onto something. I don't know. But I'm one of them kind of guys that once I find something I like, I stick with it forever, and I'm so used to using those towels. She also made me this washcloth and a little mini flag. All I can say is, and all she did when I was at her house is she got her phone out and she went click, took a picture of my hat, and was brilliant woman. Okay, let's get on to the main thing that we're all here to talk about today. Okay, soldering irons are hot, and we got ourselves an sb-220 here. See what we got. Oh, it's in great condition. Oh, got a Harbach soft start, or yeah, soft key. Okay. All right, I can work with all of this. Okay, let's start here. Make it a little bit brighter so you all can enjoy the beauty of this thing. Okay, so this is my bread and butter. Good old sb-220. We worked on about 1 million of these, it seems like. Well, we got upgraded jumpers here. We got the soft start, Harbach soft start kit, Harbach's soft key kit. We've got our stock chokes in here, which we're going to get rid of. And the stock capacitors, which are going to go away. We're going to go to a grounded grid. Much more stable operating environment. Upgraded foam coax going up to the input tuner, input band switch. There's some form of LMR coax that they've got in here for the output tune. It's got our stock, or no, upgraded rectifier rig for the soft key and for the key in circuit. It's got a brand new Harbach relay in it. Still got the stock glitch choke in it, which is pretty cool, but we're going to change some of this stuff. It's currently wired for, looks like 110 volts, confirmed with a plug. And wow, there's like a ton of Harbach stuff in this amp. So let's see here. Let's look at the back real quick. This is a non-smoker environment amplifier. This thing is spectacularly clean. sb-220 stock number 16541. Data service 2-1-78. So it was sent in for service at some point. Okay, what do we got in the bag of parts? Harbach parasitic choke. Looks like a switch cover of some kind. Those are our parasitic chokes. Oh, I see what's going on here. Okay, well, that's an easy fix. Well, hell, this just keeps getting better the more we look at it. This little piece of plastic stuffed in here. Don't know what that was for. We'll set that aside. This thing is stupid clean on the inside. So we went through a little time and period where they were coating the inside of the cabinets to help pull more heat out of the aluminum. So this has been painted black on the inside. It's got a Harbach fan, Harbach new motor in it. It's got the Harbach rectifier board in it, new. Well, no. Let me look. We'll flip it around. We'll look here in a second. It's got an aftermarket Harbach, the old Harbach high voltage cap set in it, so we don't need to change that out at all. Inside of this looks as minty as it can get. Tank coil's in good shape. Chokes are all in good shape. Blocker is still good. Bypass is still good. I'm giving them the squeeze test. If you go and squeeze on either one of these doorknobs and they feel like bubble, you know, Fun Team bubble gum, remember these from when we were kids, all of us? And they're soft like this gum, those caps are bad. I've had this around so long for visual demonstration that this gum is rock hard. It's actually probably harder than these doorknobs, but when the doorknobs are kept, or the amp is kept for many decades in a high moisture environment, the doorknobs will absorb that moisture out of the air and they become soft like that gum. Like really soft. So, it's looking like we got some aftermarket schmoo going on here. Let's flip it around and take a look. Okay, so let's give the caps a little spin here. I'm going to get my mic down here so you guys can hear what I'm hearing. Ready? Now, I was sitting here and I was looking at some of these fins. This fin here is remarkably close. And then This fin here is also remarkably close. I need an X-Acto knife. But that's not what's causing this noise that you guys are hearing. Let's not be fooled. Let's look at the whole picture. Ready? It's coming from the knob. The knob's too close to the face. So, okay, don't want to get fooled by that. Now, there's two mods that are in here. This is a tuner that's hanging on a board that references ground, and it goes to the 10 meter, 11 meter position. We all know what they did here. That's cute. This is an old Harbach mod, or an idea of a Harbach mod. This is a sacrificial piece of wire. And the idea is if too much current gets pulled from any myriad of reasons in the amp deck, parasitics give us a hard time, tubes give us a hard time, whatever gives us a hard time. This piece of wire is designed to disappear into a cloud of vapor and smoke before this burns up, or there's any catastrophic damage to the stock, rectifier board. And yes, we have still got installed, but is it active? It is not active. So this is an aftermarket. Oh yes, this is an aftermarket board. This is an aftermarket Harbach board. I'm so used to looking at these. I'm sorry, I misidentified this totally. This is an aftermarket Harbach board. I'm so used to seeing these and they be green, a dark green, with a green mask on them. This is totally a Harbach board, aftermarket, completely 100%. Okay, so what we've got here is a really good sb-220. It's in really, really, really good shape, completely full of every Harbach mod money can buy. Take a minute and let's go cruise around the face and show you the paint that's on the front of this thing. Pretty minty, very clean. The corners aren't chipped up. The faceplate, got a little bit of case rash going on there from it being slid in and out of the armor. A little bit more case rash going on here in the corner. Tiny little bit more down here. Couple little tiny paint flakes over here. And a little bit here, but that's nothing to even be concerned about, I don't think. Okay, so what my eyes tell me and my minutes of experience with this, because let's face it, there's some old spunker out there. Believe me, I know he's out there. Who's got decades working on these. Where here I've been around for about a decade and I'm just starting on this, in his opinion, and in mine as well. This looks really good. I got to repair the end of the choke, and I'll give it some new eyelets. Let's see what all's in this little packet of stuff over here. Still have no idea what this goes to. Here's our stock for the end of the plate choke. We're going to make our own. We're going to rewrap that and we're going to make this our own and take care of it our own way. And we're not going to use these parasitics. We're going to make new ones for this. This has brand new, or not new, but definitely are good. Oh no, it's got Chinesium tubes in it. It's a 3500Z carbon graphite bell. Made in China. So it's got a decent set of 3500Zs in it. We'll see what they do for output. The solder pin on the tips of the tubes and is in excellent condition. Excellent condition. stock's in good shape. Tube's got a little bit of dust on it. The pins are in great condition. I think these are like RF parts, but then they would say RF parts on them. China 3500ZCs, or 3500Cs. 3500C, huh? Let's go look this up on the computer. Can't find a data sheet for them anywhere, but 3500Z is the moly, molybdenum, unobtainium, nonium, or other metal anode. The 3500ZG is the graphite anode, and the 3500C is a Chinese-made tube with a graphite anode. There's no gain structure difference, there's no output difference. Okay, at least we know what we got. Well, first thing we're going to do is we're going to fix the knob. We're going to make it so it's not rubbing against the paint. That's all we're going to do is we're going to slide this forward a little bit. And then we're going to build our parasitics. And we're going to get our attachments for our anodes. And we're going to repair this. And then we'll bring it back and we'll do the air bottle test on it. Hey Tony, what'd I just do?
Well, I left the mic off.
What'd I do?
Left the microphone off.
I left the microphone off. So gentlemen, I'm on the phone today with Tony over at ICA Manufacturing, aka the biggest fat man in the Northwest, Fat Boy. And we're talking about an exotic cabinet design that I want to do, and we're going to redo this video segment. Take dos. So I ended up here on the bottom, and this is where we're going to stop, and we're going to wind back up at the top where I left you guys off at. There's very few modifications I need to do here to the bottom. As you all know, I'm not a big fan of these chokes. What happens is the choke from heat, because the tube's closer to the wall, the heat penetrates into the aluminum, backtracks into the choke opens up, the grids become unbalanced, the tube becomes, well, it flares way up, creates a bunch of voltage and oscillation issues, and it always backs up and presents itself right here, which I've covered in many YouTube videos before. So I'm going to show you what I did on the top. Now I'm telling you what I'm going to do next. Is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to ground out the grids here on the bottom side. And there's very few things left that I feel that I need to check, modify, or test. We'll ground the grids out. I'll come back. I'll show you that here in just a minute. But let's go ahead and let's flip over here to the top side. This is the short version, isn't it? Compared to the previous version. I got a little speaky in the last version. I was talking my ass off. Okay.
Just try to repeat yourself.
Yeah, I'm really tired of repeating myself. So, here we are on the top side. I went ahead and I rebuilt the plate choke. I took one turn out of it, which won't make any difference in its operation at all, especially in the lower frequencies. The higher frequencies, like, quote, and I say this air quoting, 10 and 11 meters, this choke does not even need to be remotely this long. But when we get down into the 80 meter band, this choke and its length becomes very critical. That one turn won't make any difference, though, for frequency response. I put two brand new solderable eyelets on here, put Teflon wire going back to this blocker. This blocker was like a 1009 or 1010, and this was like a 990 or 980. Well within 1% tolerance. Like I said, they haven't absorbed any moisture, they're not soft, so I feel fairly confident in that. I bypassed the safety interlock for the moment. I will re-engage it before it leaves here, of course. I built the horseshoe parasitics here. I personally, feel from lots and lots of trying this, the horseshoe parasitic is vastly superior to the wrap parasitic, especially for this amplifier with this tube, with this whole circuit surrounding it. That's my opinion. So we're going to leave this hooked up for the moment. After we get the grids grounded, and I do that segment, we're going to drop this thing back down on its ass like it's sitting now. And we'll go ahead and we'll disconnect the anodes. I wanted to attach these so I got my spacing right. Because as we all know, when it comes to a 3500Z like this and the tube's been sitting for a while, we want to bring it on with a variac and make sure that we don't have an air bottle. What I mean by that is the seal on the tube breaking, it's lost its vacuum. If we apply high voltage with the vacuum on the tube not being any good, we're going to scatter some stuff in the high voltage supply over here, which I don't want to deal with. So this is where we're at. We're moving forward. Horseshoe parasitics, way better than rat parasitics, especially when it comes to when guys don't have the output portion of the amplifier tuned properly and they're driving the box heavily. That'll cause the parasitics to burn up way faster than anything else. This circuit is way more forgiving for that. Just food for thought. Food for thought. All right, I shall return. Well, ogly doggly, here we are again. So I grounded up the grids and I retied the hole inside of the box. I got rid of oops, you didn't see that. I'm telling you, this wax string doesn't have enough wax on it. That's okay. So I retied the whole amplifier, hand by hand. There's about 5 different colored zip ties in there. I find that ugly. And this thing's too pretty, and I don't want her to have any black eyes anywhere. So, soft start. This is very thick. This is like a 1,000 volt plus electrical tape that I put on here. It's really sticky. I did that because this board doesn't have any mount. It can't really fall down because I have it tied down to a bunch of other wire looms, but it can't fall against the lid. But to prevent any chance of that ever happening, ever, I went in and put an insulator on this. Usually when I install them, I flip them over, and then I use VHN, VHB, VHV electrical tape, or not electrical, double-sided adhesive tape, which is an automotive adhesive tape, which once that board made contact with that tape and made contact with the cabinet, Godzilla couldn't pull it off of there. But that's not the way this was wired, so we went ahead and just put a precautionary layer of insulation on it. So I think we flip it over and we turn on. Let's do the air bottle test on the tubes. Oh, what's the worst that could happen here? Somehow magically I get shocked by 3,000 volts and then Jesus comes back? Who knows? Who knows? Oh, hopefully this all goes smoothly and I can quickly progress on to running this through all of its bands. I had a problem with my voltmeter. You know, I took half my shop with me, or a quarter of my shop with me, when I went on my little road trip here to California. And this little dingle fart decided that it would take an impact on the meter. And so now it's got a permanently disabled hunk of crystal in it. So the other day I took it all apart and I sat here with the paint stripper and heated it up very slowly. And worked the crystal back into suspension on the inside of the meter. And I was able to get it down to those 2 little black dots. The meter still reads with intolerance, it's just took a little bump on the face. So I was thinking about it. I've been running the same 2 voltmeters now for a couple decades. I've had these same 2 meters, and you know, I just might have to call up Fluke and say, hey man, you want to help a brother out? All right, let's throw our probe in there. We got our voltage on. We're on SSB, which is going to be high. And contact. Oh, here comes the high voltage already. There's 900, 1,000. Tubes are lighting. Transformer's not fighting me over here, the Variac. For 110. Fan's just a little bit out of balance. It's not hitting the tubes. We're sitting right at 3,000 volts. Low tap is working. Tubes are not flaring. And the tubes did not fill up with white acrid smoke, which means they're still vacuumed, which makes me happy. Which makes me very, very happy. Okay, so here we are on 80 meters. 80 meters is going to be there and there. Demand selector is an 80. We've got the thing up in high at the moment. Putting 100 watts of drive into it. Grid meter at 012. High voltage at 012. Everything's working. It's a 1,000 watt element in PEP. Or, pardon me, 1,000 watt element in 2X PEP. Hello, audio. Hello, audio. 1,300 watts. Hello, audio. With about 80 going in it. Okay. Oh yeah, here, let me show the radio driving it. Highlight the SWR bridge. Let's see here. Menu. Meter. Hello, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. All right. Remember, this thing is wired 110 volts, so therefore, unless we drive the P out of it, we're not going to get them big numbers that we'd normally see if we were on 220. Okay, next. So here we are on 40. A little overcoupled here on the markers, but that doesn't mean anything. About 3.5, we're on 40. Hello, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Grid meter tells everything. Hello, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Watt meter. Hello, 1, 2. Audio, 1, 2. That's about right. Oh, I bumped the button. Meters. There we go. Hello, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. All right. I'm happy, it's happy, everything's happy. Let's go figure out 20. 20, we are at the 10 marker, almost a 6 on 20 meter mode. Plate, hello, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Grid, hello, 1, 2, 1, 2. Peak power, hello, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. And input SWR. Hello, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Okay. On to 15. Woo, woo. Okay, so we're back. Now, it doesn't look quite the same as it did before. The face is off, and I had to go in here and make an adjustment. So the 15 meter tuner right here is directly next to the 11 meter tuner. Let's say 11 meter, 10 meter, pardon me. It's right next to the 10 meter position there. And there's a capacitor that was hanging out. You can't quite see it from this angle, but you can see its leg right there. It had come off. So we put the capacitor on, and turn the slug a little bit. Now let's come up here. We're going to look at two different positions here. We're going to look at the SWR bridge on the radio, and we're going to look at the bird meter. It's a 5-watt slug in reverse there, by the way. So we're going to work sideband. Hello, 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 audio 1 2 1 2. That tells the whole story. So we got the input tune fixed, and I couldn't figure this out. I'm like, did they retune? What is all this hibby-majibby going on down in here? What is this board for? It'll focus. Give it a second. What's this board for here? Okay. That's for the 10 meter position, which we haven't even made it to yet. So we're on 15 meters. Hello, 1 2 1 2. Hello, 1 2 1 2 1 2. I could sit here and twiddly fart around with the tune load knobs and probably get a little bit more out of it than that, but it's not worth it. Let's go look at the 10 meter position and see what kind of nightmare we find there. Okay, so here we are in the 10 meter, 11 meter position. We're going to use the bench 2 pill. We're currently in 1X position. Hello. 220 watts is all we're going to put into this. Hello. Off to scale. So come to find out, this thing is set up. Let's go to 2X now. This thing is set up so you can tune it anywhere from 10 to 12, or 10 to 10 all the way down to 11 meters. A hair over 2,000, say about 2,200, which would be full output for this thing without damaging it. We know when we overdrive it because there's a 2.2K resistor, 2,200 ohm, yeah, 2.2K. Perfect. I got to do this last test. The way I present this information is a little flawed in the sense that what I could do is I could show it on the ICOM and then come back and run it with a maximum output power test, but it doesn't matter. That would be just an extra step to the video, in my opinion. So the way this thing is set up is you can adjust this capacitor right here for 10 and 11. So if you want to run 10 meters, you're going to run that cap in. If you want to run 11 meters, you're going to back that cap out. Either way, it is what it is. And puts out full power, 2,300 watts. We drive that any harder, we could get more out of this amp, a lot more. We could turn up our mic, our mic gain, get like 400 watts out of this little 2 pill. The problem with that is then this portion of the amplifier always disappears up in smoke. This resistor, gonzo, disappears and lets the magic smoke out. It says, I've been overdriven, and then the grid meter doesn't work right anymore. As you can clearly see, we've got all the stock parts in it, which to me, that makes it more valuable. If you want to buy it and abuse it, hey, that's on you. It's my job to make sure everything in here works to spec. It's got good input reflect, and I'm very transparent in what I'm showing you. That's my JOB, which I think I've now demonstrated. Let me pull the knobs off. I fixed the fan too. It was clicking, remember? That's all fixed. Pull the fan, or pull the knobs off, reinstall the face, get the side plate put back on it. This does have a full lid and cage assembly, which is all in pristine condition, and the armor on this is in really, really good shape too. So let me get the faceplate put back on it, and then we're going to come back and we're going to wrap this up. Well, here it is, and it's all semi-uncompleted glory. Let's see, I need some more screws. Here's scroobies. Scrooby-doobs. Screws. Here we go, screws. Okay, so what we've got is a fully assembled sb-220. This is his armor. I wanted to go over a couple things. It does have some bezel rash around the front end of this thing. Wait a minute. Around the front end of it, no. We'll go that way. Whatever, it fits on both directions. It does have some bezel rash around the edges. Come on. It's like trying to sell a used car. It's new to you, okay? It's just new to you. It's going to have a couple of dings and nicks in it, but the internal guts, the motor, the drivetrain, the tires, fuel consumption, fuel pump, dash, electronics, stereo, all that kind of shit works great. It's got a couple dings around the door dams. That's what it is. There are no major dents. There's a little scuff here on the bottom you guys need to be more aware of, but outside of that, this armor is actually in really, really, really good shape. There's a tiny little ding here, but you can't. There. That showcases it. So it stays apart until somebody decides they want to buy it. There's no point in putting all the screws back in here other than for show, for camera, because I can pull the screws back out, take the tubes out, because we never ever, for any reason ever, any of you or me, ever ship these with the tubes in it. They never make it. Tubes hop out, they bounce around, they break, they're glass. We take them out and we ship them separately. So you'll be getting this in a wood crate. I have been informed that the current spike in lumber prices are directly getting reflected back down to, well, the cost of the crate. So you're going to have to want to calculate it probably about $100-150 for shipping. Honest to God. This gets put in, it's a custom cardboard container. First it gets 1 inch of bubble wrap all the way around, or 2 inches of bubble wrap all the way around it, then it goes into a custom handmade cardboard container, which is industrial, which is thicker, like that thick cardboard. And then on top of that, it goes inside of a custom-made wood crate. Then this wood piece of cardboard box is suspended with foam bladders all the way around it. No damage. And that goes in a wood box, it gets put on a pallet, and it gets brought to you on your front doorstep. It's the only way that we can get these little thin girls transported from A to B to C to D to E to F without having any kind of damage. The inside of this amp is minty mint. So if you're interested in an sb-220, we all know the routine at this point. You're going to call the number. I will take PayPal and of course credit cards, so everybody gets a receipt of what they're doing. And that's it. End of story. Oh yeah, I'd like to see $2,200 for this. And of course I'm open for the best offer. You know, give me an offer. Don't hesitate to ring me up and say, hey BBI, I'll give you 21 for it. I'll probably entertain that idea, but I'm asking 22 plus the ride. So you know the routine. Call the number. Appreciate you guys. Believe me, I truly do appreciate you guys. One more amp going back out into the universe for it to go and be used on the air one more time.